Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Slappin Kpop podcast. I am Kayla, and today here with me is Sammy.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking about Road to Kingdom. Once again, Lucas unfortunately can't be with us for the round 1 and the round 2 recaps, but so it's just going to be me and Sammy today. And so the way we're going to split these episodes up, because the way that they were aired is very bizarre.
Not great.
We are going to be doing all of round 1 together and then all of round 2, and regardless of however the episodes got split up. So just so you know, this episode is going to be about round 1 first. All right, and so to get right into round 1, what the groups are doing this round, the theme was called Song of King, and so every group picked a group to cover what they thought was like the king or whatever. So these are all like very popular groups and everything.
I have questions about a lot of the choices that were made about
They made some
songs.
Weird choices.
There were some choices.
These were some choices.
A lot of them are not. A lot of them are. All of these are perfectly respectable songs. All of these are good songs.
Mm-hmm.
Except for one of them. One of them I do not like its original form. We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like all of these are good songs. Not saying anything about that or the groups. I'm just saying to call it the Kings, and then for some groups, for certain big groups to be omitted, and then for other groups to be represented was weird.
There's bizarre song choices this entire show. Really.
And there's two big omissions that I think everybody was just wondering, and I understand why they didn't pick those two groups,
mm-hmm.
whose names I almost don't want to say. I think everybody knows
I think
who I'm talking
all of
about.
the groups were afraid of choosing the basic songs that they just went like really out there, and we got some like really weird songs.
Choices.
Yeah.
All right.
Just to sort of recap how they were doing the ranking for this round is that there wasn't any type of like audience or online voting. Each group picked 6 members because the smallest group on the show is 6 members, and then they would go in and individually rank all of the other groups from 1 to 6, and then that's how all of the points from this round came from. And to start off, because the boys won that intro performance round, they got to decide the rank for this round, and One Us gets to go first, just like they were hoping to do the entire...
Like they wanted to do in the first round.
Exactly.
So they performed Warrior's Descendants, originally by H.O.T., and this is the song I actually don't really like the original version of.
I hate the original version of this song.
I don't like it.
It's gross.
But One Us did it very, very well.
They made it really good.
They made it really, really good. I think they bring up doing a couple... They're the only group that actually brings up doing BTS.
Mm-hmm.
And then do not give a reason as to why they don't do it. They're just like, no, let's do HOT.
Yeah.
A lot of groups bring up doing a bunch of other groups.
They do.
And they picked HOT. And I really liked their performance. I think that they went with more of like that... I mean, obviously there's a school setting. That's sort of the basis of this song anyway. So they went with that still general theme. Mm-hmm. But they do the material well. I think that we both just had one big-ish problem with it.
Yeah, I love this performance a lot. It is it's one of the performances I go back and watch the most because it has really good storytelling. They really had a really good theme and they stuck to it and they told the story really well. The problem with it is that it's really carried by their backup dancers. And they do a lot of the flips just in the background. And I think that really takes away from them when it's your backup dancers that have to do most of the interesting parts of the performance.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, the members of One Us actually do a lot of their own stunts and they do a lot of their own flips. But I think that too much of it was, like, there was a point where the backup dancers were in the foreground.
Yeah.
Doing a bunch of stunts, and the members were in the background. And I don't think that's ever something that should... Like, this is your performance. You should be the stars at all time. Like, you can highlight one member and have the member with the backup dancers. But it should never be, like, the backup dancers aren't... Especially with a group. A soloist is slightly more... That's slightly more okay with us. That's fine with a soloist, but with a group, I think that the group, if you can't do all those stunts, then cut some stunts and do some more dancing.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think the performance rises above that. I think any lesser of a performance, like if One Us hadn't done such a good job with the song, we would have had way more problems with it. Because honestly, it's probably one of the 2 or 3 that I go back to and listen to a lot.
Oh yeah,
it's just so well done.
love it. And then their stage presence is really good.
It's so
like
good.
they can carry the entire stage like with their stage presence in this performance. It is really like
and it's almost what makes it more disappointing that the backup dancers carried the dance, because I think One Us has such good stage presence. They could have done something just as good.
Right. They really could have.
They're such a good group.
They are.
Overall, I think that they can just do so much with their songs and with them, and they're 6 members. They're the smallest of these groups, along with Very Very or
ONF.
ONF, sorry. Along with ONF, they're 6 members. So I think to carry that stage with 6 members is, in comparison to groups that have more members, it's a tighter stage, and they have to sort of like run around a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So next is 2, and they did Rising Sun by TVXQ.
Mm-hmm. That was a good song choice, I think. They are babies.
They're babies. I mean, every rookie group does one TVXQ song. Pick any K-pop group. They've done one.
They have.
It's usually either Balloons or Neurotic.
Neurotic, yeah.
Or Rising Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Or Rising Sun. It depends on what age they're debuting.
Yes.
And so I think Rising Sun was a good choice for them. It's still like a big group, but it's sort of like not the obvious song to pick.
Right.
It's like a step, like everyone knows Rising Sun, though. Mm-hmm. And they did so well.
They did really good.
They did
way
so
better,
well.
Way better than anything I was expecting out of them,
I know. Also, I wrote down a quote from the boys, which is "Good luck to our babies."
Yes.
And I'm like, they just speak for us all.
Oh, yes.
Like, because I have grown very attached to the members of 2, who just, like, they show the little bit of the backstage stuff, and they're just adorable.
They're
and
so
like,
cute.
They're just, like, sleeping in their practice room, and I'm like, oh my god, they're just adorable.
I do have to complain about these stupid, before the performance planning sessions, because they're unbelievable.
Pointless.
And they're so scripted.
Of...
And it's like, I do not believe for a second that 2 went up to the balcony of their building and then saw the sun and was like, oh, that's the song we need to do.
That's the song that's gonna make... Oh, God, it's incredible. I honestly, half the time they have papers in front of them, and I'm 90% sure that is the script.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a script.
It is. Those things are absolutely, they're so fake. The only parts of them I actually believe is when they show them practicing, like, choreo and, like, walking through choreo things. Like, those I believe. But it's just, like, with all these, when they're sitting at a table and talking about the song, it's just like, this is the most scripted thing ever.
And then talking about, like, how they decided on the song, and I'm like, I bet you they had some input, but no.
Yeah.
They needed to get rights to all these songs. They needed to figure out, like, licensing of all this. No, they know what they're doing.
Depending on the group,
not that.
They probably have some type of, it probably depends on the company how much influence they have on what they're doing on the show. 2, I would say, probably has no influence on what they're doing.
No. 2 is being told what to do, like the obedient little babies that they are.
Because they don't really have a choice in the matter there.
They're so good.
They're really good.
They're very good. I think this Rising Sun, it was a bit of a basic Rising Sun performance. Like, they didn't do as much of as a like, changing of the... of, like, the style or anything.
Yeah, like, the arrangement of the song was pretty basic, yeah.
Was basic. It's like but it was just so, sometimes basic is good, like, better. Like, I'd rather you just keep it simple.
Right, it's better for it to be more generic than, like, actively bad, because there's a couple that are actively bad.
We'll get there. Yep. And genuinely, I think that they just stayed very true to that, and I think 2 is so young that I think trying to do too much, I mean, they barely have... It's like anything with a new job. Like, they're just started doing this. They can't... They haven't reached the level where I think they can completely rearrange everything and just be magnificent at it.
Yeah.
Of a song that they don't even fully know the basics of, because they've never done, they haven't really, I mean, I know they had their show, but as a group, and I know as a group they've done a bunch of covers, but like Rising Sun is like a classic.
Yeah.
A very well-known classic.
I will say that I noticed in Two's performances that it's very evident that they're still rookies, because a lot of the members don't quite have, like, the stage presence that the other groups have.
They don't have as much.
They look kind of awkward.
You can almost see them thinking.
You
can see them thinking about what their next steps are, they're very concentrating and not letting it sort of. You can almost tell like they're still like don't have it as down or as quickly as the other groups that can, like, they know the steps and can focus on the stage presence. They're sort of focusing still on the steps.
There is one member of Two I keep noticing who I feel like he goes out of his way to not look directly into the camera. And it makes him look a little awkward, like, every single time that he has a part, because I'm like, it just, you're trying like really hard not to make eye contact. Avoid
looking at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, again, in its own way, that lack of stage presence is, in its own way, charming.
It is.
Again, we're not talking about a group that's, like, 2 years... Like, if they were still doing this 2 years in, that's something a little bit more questionable. They're a month and a half into their careers.
Yeah, at the time of this performance,
they were
probably,
like
less
than
a week and
a half into their careers. Yeah. They're probably, like, a week in, and they're still, like, nervous and trying to, like, get their sea legs. Sea legs. The next performance is gosh. That's a... But, like, I think 2 is just... Overall, they're sort of been the surprise of this show.
For sure.
Because, guess what? I know I already liked Golden Child. I already liked The Boys. I already liked One Us. I liked all these groups, and I knew that they were good. 2 was a complete unknown.
Yeah.
And they are sort of rising as like they're better than some of these established groups in certain ways.
Yeah, honestly.
We have nothing but good things. Like, they're a little awkward, but we have nothing but, like, overall
yeah, it's
good
like
things
all
to say
of
about
the issues I have with their performance is like that's what I would expect out of a group that's like less than a month old anyway. So it's nothing I can blame them too much for, because they're just still
there's
such
no
a new
glaring
group.
problems with there's no problems with 2. They just are young, and youth is not a problem.
They are like
we can fix
super
that with
rookies.
Experience. Yeah, they're like mega child rookies.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are so. I feel like some of them probably were like barely alive when this song came out.
Probably. When did this song come out?
Rising Sun was 2005, so yeah, they were all born, but they were all babies.
Like toddler age when this song came out.
Yeah, they were toddlers when this song came out, which I think just proves how long TVXQ has been around and still kicking.
Still going.
Still going. A lot of these groups still going. But first we have to talk about Very Very's performance. Very Very 1/3. They actually mentioned doing VIX or EXO, which I'm like, both of those groups
better
would
choices
fit the
for
concept that you're trying to go for. And also they decided to do Monse by 17 because of the synchronized dancing that 17 has. But they also wanted to go for a more mature concept, so they were, like, in the Navy on the Titanic. Because if you look at that background projection, that is, like, 1990s level CG of the Titanic.
We talked about this in the preview coverage when we noticed for the first time while recording the podcast that there was the Titanic in the background.
I still don't understand why it's the Titanic. I'm more confused now that we know that it's the Navy. Yeah. Why they're on the Titanic.
They're on a sinking ship. Yeah.
They're on I think so as you can probably tell, we're not the biggest fans of this performance.
No.
I just think that the way they changed the song is Monse. That is 17's actual cutest song. Mm-hmm. Why would you choose their cutest song to become your mature concept song? And not mature as in, like, sexy, but, like, mature as in, like, you want to not be seen as children, but you're choosing the actual time 17 did a schoolboy concept.
And the thing with the performance is that it's kind of walking this line in the middle of being, like, kind of cute, but also more mature, and it's it's just like it's not working. Like
the other
at
thing
all.
in a way is I don't think that they there's no transition between the two. It just looks like
No.
there's two separate parts of the song. Like you have them doing a dance, like you have them doing the beginning intro that's like all mature. Then they go into Manse and they do Manse. Then they go back to, I think, a dance break that is mature.
Yeah.
Those are three distinct parts of the song that don't fit together. Because Manse does not lend itself to being a mature song like that. It is literally about like a schoolboy crush. I'm like, none of this really.
They were just
sense.
like it feels like they just put a bunch of things in like a hat and then just like pulled out 3 random ideas, and I'm like, great, that's the performance. We're doing Manse by 17 and we're making it mature and we're doing it on the Titanic. Like,
it was either that or they were like, oh no, we're gonna do this mature concept. They planned that all out. They choreographed the intro, and then Mnet was like, oh great, all we could get the rights to was Manse by 17. Here you go. They got the song last minute, had to make it work.
Oh my god.
Because the thing seemed disjointed.
It's there's just a lot of like clashing
17
things
wouldn't
happening.
give us fear, so you get Manse. Because I feel like even if you still want to do a 17 song, which again, I think Kings of K-pop, I'm very happy that we're considering 17 a king of K-pop. That actually makes me very happy.
Yeah.
As a massive 17 fan. I think that there's a bunch of other songs that you could do. I can list, like, there's a lot of them.
One of these songs is really not a king of K-pop. It's a confusing.
Oh, we'll get there.
It's a confusing choice.
It's a confusing choice, but like I'm happy that we're considering 17 a king of K-pop.
Yeah.
But like if you want to do something like that, they could have done Hit or Fear, or even something like Don't Want to Cry if you want to do something slower and more sentimental. I
also
think that they just chose the worst song to try this concept with.
I also feel that Very Very is not an in-sync enough group with their choreography to pull off a 17 song. And this is something they've talked about in their like practicing before the performance clips, where they, like, when they're practicing the dance, they have moments where they're like pointing out how like no one is in sync at all, and it's like that's not necessarily bad, because there are a lot of songs that don't really require you to be like as sharp and like in sync, but 17 is a group where they're really known for that, and so I feel like using a 17 song isn't the best for them.
Not just that, but I think 17 makes their core, like 17 knows how in sync they are for a large group, and that looks impressive for 13 people to be that in sync. So their dances highlight that. Their dances constantly have these moments where they're just like, you have to be in sync or this will look stupid.
Yeah.
And I think Very Very struggled a little bit with those parts of the choreo.
Right.
Where it's like you have to, like, this move is either in sync or it looks terrible.
And then it's like also the sort of trying to transition this choreo, that it's a cute choreo, trying to make it into a mature looking choreo, and there was just also like a big disconnect there.
Yeah. I mean, I think Very Very, in terms of talent, I think if the actual cover of the song wasn't bad. Like, generally, the vocals were not bad. Everything like that was pretty okay. I just think the overall concept was a mistake.
The concept is really what killed their performance. Yeah. It was really all over the place.
I think if they had done a different song, they would have been better.
For sure. And when I was talking to other people about Road to Kingdom and whatnot, a lot of people agreed that the song choices are really what killed some of these performances, where it's either a song that it's like not a lot of people recognize, so a lot of people just won't care about the cover in general. Like that's not the problem for Very Very, but like with this like HOT song, like who remembers that? Like modern K-pop bands like aren't gonna care at all about HOT. No.
And I just think that in general, I think they Very Very just, they're kind of getting a little bit bogged down with like trying to show a different side to them. Yeah. And I think that can come, next when we talk about round two. When we talk about round two, they excel at that. I just think a lot of these groups are trying to do this, we want to change our image. I'm like, okay, but you have to sort of make everything fit, and you don't need to do that every single round. Like, pick and choose your battles here, because you can do it well one round, and not necessarily maybe do something a little different another round.
Yeah,
they're just all trying to do this, break out of the box, do something unique and different, and outside of our comfort zone, and I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Scale it back.
Yeah,
Rein it in.
this very, very Monte cover is like shades of like Lovely's Achu or Sixth Sense cover, where it's just like it's not happening. They're trying. I give them credit for trying, but it's just like the execution was really not there.
So the last performance for episode 2 of Road to Kingdom was Golden Child with the, is it T.O.P.?
I would have, T.O.P. top. It does. I don't
top,
care.
I don't know.
Shinhwa.
But literally, they debuted
2 years before their maknae was born.
Yep.
Bowman is younger than Shinhwa.
Still alive and Shinhwa is still alive and kicking, and is old. It is debuted before half of these idols were before half of these idols.
Shinhwa was
for context,
Shinhwa's 1998.
1998.
Yeah, that's before five of their
debuted.
members. And maybe depending on when, I don't know the birthdays of the 2 members in 98, but possibly seven of the 10 of the members of Golden Child.
Who know? And there are members of 2 that are born in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Shinhwa is just still alive and kicking in an age where these idols just, they've never lived in a world without Shinhwa.
I just love this contrast of the age in Golden Child, where Dale, he recommends this song and he's like, I remember listening to the song when I was a kid, and then Bowman's over there just not even born yet.
Bowman's eyes are like, I don't know what this is, but sure.
Because Dale is an old man.
Dale is a very old man. Oh, Lord. To put that into context, Dale is the brother of a member of Infinite, Sungyeol, and Dale is older than the maknae of Infinite.
Infinite, who debuted in 2010.
Yep. But this performance was amazing. Mm-hmm. I loved everything about this performance.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. It's so elegant. This is how you do a mature concept that's elegant without needing to go super hard. This song is very airy and light, but they still managed to go and be amazing. The fans,
the choreo was so
feather
intense.
Jackets.
And it's like, it's a real big contrast, because I didn't realize like how intense the choreo actually was until I watched a couple of fan cams of it, but it's so intense, but it's like so elegant at the same time.
That's the other thing. They make it look so easy.
Mm-hmm. It's like so elegant, and it's just so pretty. T.O.P. by Shinhwa has motifs of Swan Lake in the actual song, so that's sort of the theme that they went with for their whole performance.
It's gorgeous. Also, they didn't say the N-word.
They did not, so we don't have to cancel them.
We don't have to sit here and debate about
the
problematicness of Golden Child.
They just took that entire segment out of the song, so it's good. We're in the clear.
They just replaced it with a different rap, and I'm like, this
good
is
job.
Probably
good job.
For the best.
I'm proud.
I'm excited. Honestly, I really loved the jackets.
The chicken jackets.
They were the what I think look like chicken feathers or faux feather jackets. And they're all in white, so they just all look really nice. Because the stage is very dark. Not lighting dark, but like everything on the stage is black in the background, so they just like stand out and just pop out in like these pure white outfits.
Can we talk about the horrible lighting that every single performance has on the show?
Yes.
Because I
don't think Mnet knows how to light the
It's so bad.
Yet.
And like, in Two's performance in particular, there's just one like shot where the backlights are just blaring and you can't even see the members because the lights are so bright.
They're completely washed out. Yeah, I don't think Mnet because the stage, because there's no crowd, essentially the camera can move in any direction. Like they can be over here, half of the group can be on the left, half of the group can be on the right, and they can just keep cutting back and forth with the cameras, so it's like a more dynamic performance.
Right.
But the problem with that is that I don't think Mnet knows exactly where to put the lights.
The lights are just...
Because they've never really had to do... Because they've always... Because if you're performing for an audience, everyone's trying to face outward. But if you're performing just for a camera, the camera can be anywhere.
It's also weird the whole way the stage is set up because it's just like a rectangular like strip, and then it's got those bleachers on either side of it, and so it's there's no clear there's no clear front or back of the stage. It's just all there.
Yeah, there's no clear where. I think that they're just trying to figure. I think the second round performances are better at this because I think they kind of had more of an idea because they started using different aspects of the stage more. They started actually moving around and everything. This round, a lot of them really stayed in that center part and just almost performed like they were performing for an audience.
Golden Child's is a little bit all over the place.
It's a little
on
bit.
The side places of the stage. Them and the boys, I think, are both really good at that.
The boys use that stage impeccably.
Yeah. I also giving a shout out to Tag in this performance because I feel like this was like his time to shine.
His performance
because he's the contemporary. He's like a contemporary dancer, and so they're doing like a Swan Lake song. So of course he was gonna shine the most in it. And I think
he was very good
with the Golden Child performance, this one, and then the round 2 one. There is like one member in particular who stands out like a lot.
Yeah, they tend to highlight. Yeah, they like to highlight this one member that sort of has a skill that can be extremely useful.
Right,
and I think that's a very good way to sort of introduce member. Like they're a very large group. They're one of the largest groups on the show, and to sort of. It's very hard to, like, stand out in these groups, so I do like when these big groups highlight one person.
It is really nice because
in a way,
all of the screen time outside of the performances is going to Jang Joon because he's just Jang Joon.
He's just living his best life.
He's just eating the Golden Child screen time. Like, that's just...
I mean, also, like, he's making them stand out. He's, like, making them stand out. He's, like, becoming a meme. It's great.
He befriends everyone. He gives, like, the best reactions. He's just at, like, 1,000% at, like, every given time.
Yeah. He's at 100% at all times. It's fine. So, who went up? ONF was next, right?
Yes, ONF.
So, ONF did a Shiny song. They did Everybody by Shiny. And they turned it into a dark concept.
Yep. Which that isn't as much of a stretch as Very Very.
No, I mean, Everybody has this very, like, technological, robot-y kind of... I mean, Shiny music videos are weird sometimes, so, like, anything could be a horror concept with Shiny. Everything has, like, this slight... But I think that... And it wasn't very bad. I just had some issues with certain parts of it, which one, I didn't like the dance break at all.
No.
Wyatt's dance break
That's easily the worst dance break that has been on this show so far. It's really bad. It's like...
It was a choice.
It's a choice.
But there just wasn't... If you're gonna do a solo dance, if you're gonna cut off your song
like in the crumping dance break, number one.
Crumping dance break, where his shirt also... I think at one point it was supposed to rip open. It kind of looks like it just kind of falls
open. It's like really
open, which
sad.
I think is not impactful.
It's like a really sad, like, ripping off the shirt.
Which, again, if you rip off your shirt, that's impressive and amazing and gets the crowd hype. If your shirt kind of opens like that, it kind of just, like, what? You get confused. You're like, is this a... Like, is this some kind of weird, like, fashion accident? Like I don't
know if
what's happening.
Was supposed to look like nonchalant, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like rip open my shirt, but it just looks like really.
It looks like it wasn't meant to happen.
It's like badly done.
Yeah, and not even just that. I also think that I don't know. The dance break itself didn't really fit the performance.
Not really.
It was a weird crumping dance break that I don't think fits with everything else that's going on.
No. Not at all. The arrangement of the song is also not my favorite.
Odd.
Because there's like...
I don't like
several...
The part where they add the lights on.
Oh, I hate that too.
That doesn't make any sense. They're just screaming it at me. It
doesn't add anything to the song. I don't like that it changes like key and BPM like 3 times in the middle of the song for like seemingly no reason, because it's not like that's a moment of the song that they're trying to emphasize. It's just like, we're gonna speed up the song and now just like change the key because we can. Like it's like not my favorite at all.
I think a lot of the decisions, like, I like some of the decisions, like, turning it into a full dark concept, I enjoy. Adding more rock elements to that song, I think, could benefit it. I think they just added too much. It's like, we're adding the rock elements, and we're adding this, and we're adding this dance break, and we're adding a key change. They just wanted to do too much. And I think it overpowered the song, because I think the parts where they just do everybody, the parts where they do a song that is just, the parts where they're actually just covering everybody are pretty good. Like, ONF is, like, they're talented. They can do this. I just think that they just added too much.
They really, yeah, they did. This, the Hyojin vocals in the song are really, really good. He is one of the best vocalists on this show, probably, and so...
Oh, yeah.
If there's any, like, saving part of the performance, or, like, highlight of the performance, it's definitely that for me. But I feel like we really need to, for everyone on this show, needs to move away from the calling themselves the king and also using the crown motif. Like, we need to get rid of that. Like, that doesn't need to be here. Get rid of it.
Because I think that, like, I think every group can have one. Maybe one time that they can use the crown motif. But I feel like it's becoming... I feel like one person did it and they were like, oh, that's really impressive. We should do it. Yeah. And then we should do it. And I'm like, oh my God, not all of you are gonna... Oh, no.
It's bad.
It's just overbearing.
And so the bigger...
Because at the end of this song, they end up doing, like, the hand crowns that, like, a lot of the girl groups are doing now.
Like the itsy hand crowns.
The hitsy hand crowns. It's like, they just, like... And look, that can be impressive. Like, the hand crowns are, like, not as thing, but, like, when it's also included with, like, other groups calling themselves the king and other groups having crowns as a motif, and they're, like, it's just getting a bit much.
And I think my big problem with this for ONF is I feel like at least the Pentagon and the boys have a little bit more ground to say they're the kings, because their fan bases are a lot bigger, and they have, like, the fan base.
This seems a bit, like, too much posturing.
Yeah. ONF definitely, like, their fan base I don't think is nearly as large as Pentagon or the boys.
No, I think they need a little bit of room to grow before they can call themselves the king.
And there's just, like, a weird cockiness to it when all the groups say it. That's not, it's not a great look.
It's not cute.
Especially because you know that obviously they're not all gonna win. So.
And also, how bad does it look if you call yourself the king and then get eliminated?
Yeah.
Not saying ONF is gonna get eliminated, but just saying
they're probably not
generally.
going to. Well, they're not going to probably, but it's not good look. You know.
It's a choice. It's a choice to be that confident. All right. And so that was episode 2's performances. Then we go on to episode 3, which starts with Pentagon.
Yep. Episode 3 is the Pentagon episode.
Yeah, episode 3 is the Pentagon episode with, like, you know, then they also have the boys do one performance.
Because we had double Pentagon.
This episode, we had 2 Pentagon performances in episode 3 and a bunch of filler about Pentagon.
And then the boys are just in the middle.
And the boys just kill it in the middle.
Yeah.
We'll get there, but, so Pentagon decides to do Very Good by Block B.
This is probably the most confusing song choice for me.
I like Block B. But Block B is not
a king.
Block B was big.
They were big.
And Zico is big.
Yeah.
But do we say not and no insult to Block B. BBC don't come for me. But is Block B on the level of Shinhwa? I mean, I guess they had 17 in there. I guess it's slightly more okay.
17 is like a newer group, though. It's like Block B is by far past their prime now.
True.
And it's I had never
Zico can kind of hold that crown.
And knowing K-pop, I had never once considered Block B like the king of K-pop.
A king? No. Neither have I, and I was just trying to dance around that fact.
But this is probably the most bizarre song choice of
it's also one of the most bizarre performances.
It's a bizarre performance.
So they decide to do it Mad Max themed, which is the only way I can describe how they're dressed and what happens.
They did say that they're going Mad Max theme.
And then also, literally, they just look at Hansuk and say, "We need your body."
Yep.
Which, by the way, I want to just point something out because it took me very long to mention. While all the other groups are performing, they do those fun cutaways to the groups in their dressing rooms watching them.
Mm-hmm.
Hansuk is just sitting there. He doesn't put the jacket on. He's just sitting there with a jacket over his chest.
Is he just like full
I guess
shirtless?
So he doesn't. He's completely shirtless. Doesn't have a, like, not even like a tank top. I'm like, I get that you don't want to like get your makeup anywhere, but like just put a shirt on while you're in the room. No, are you not cold? What's happening? At some point, he just has the jacket over him, like draped over him, almost like a blanket.
Like you don't want to. That's a shirt has a purpose, you know.
Yeah, I'm like what's happening? But like they literally look at him and just say, "We need to use you for your body," which is odd to me.
Mm-hmm. And then they say that he can go shirtless as long as he doesn't dance inappropriately afterwards.
What does that mean?
What does
that mean?
And then immediately you get this like weird clip of them like trying to dance like sexy, and I'm just like, what's happening right now?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, why are we adding like bits of this song? Like, Pentagon also does a thing where they add parts to this song because they make Very Good is already kind of, and I think Block B has already done a more rock version of Very Good, but they do an even like more rock version of Very Good, and then also for some reason just keep repeating "I Wanna Rock" right now.
Yeah.
Which again, why? Why are we adding Why are we adding random sentences?
We're adding
to these
random
songs
sentences to the chorus
that don't make any sense.
Why not? This is the only group I fully believe is making their own stages because we make all of Pentagon stuff anyway. So it makes sense that they were given like more creative control over it, and they do show Hui like arranging the song and then recording the song like with the other members and he yells at them constantly that they're not doing it right. And
they aren't. They're doing their best.
I think he has, I forgot if it's Hongseok or it's Kino, he makes someone sing the like one line over like a bunch of like 5 or plus, like probably more than that, bunch of times.
I love watching idols produce their own music because I just find it so fun. Because I think a lot of groups do like these little behind the scenes like little bits where they show like if their idol's a producer, them recording the song, and I think it's just adorable.
I do. It's cute.
But yeah,
there's also a montage of Hongseok working out to prepare his body for the performance.
Again, the emphasis they put on that almost is uncomfortable.
It is, yeah.
How much emphasis they put on his body, because also, one, everyone kind of, because the performance literally starts with Hansuk by himself, essentially chained up, shirtless.
Yep.
Just abs, all the abs.
Oh, I also want to point out something that I noticed on a rewatch. Lucas actually noticed it when we were watching the performances. One of his nipples is covered. And that's because I'm pretty sure it's a Korean broadcast law that you can't show 2 nipples at once.
Why?
Because I remember...
Why is that a rule?
I remember a story that Vix's Leo told back in their chained up days, because their stage outfits were just like the shirt jackets without like a shirt underneath it. And then he kept having a stage accident where the shirt opened up, and so every time he did one of the choreo moves, like one of his nipples would come out. And they couldn't, and they didn't have to blur it out because it was only one nipple at a time.
They only had one nipple at a time.
You're apparently only allowed to have one nipple out at a time.
Okay, but no, because I have now gone back to that ONF performance where Wyatt opens his shirt and I see both of his nipples.
Well, maybe it's because he's, like, full shirtless. I'm, like, not... It's, like, weird.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's because he still has a jacket on.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Korean broadcasting has these rules at times.
It's a weird Korean broadcast. Maybe that's a rule. I'm pretty sure it is, because I feel like that was a story Leo told before, but... Could be wrong. Yeah. Either way,
I don't know. Maybe
it's something
maybe
that
Hansuk is just self-conscious about that one nipple.
Yeah, who knows? Honestly,
maybe he's just very self-conscious about that one nipple. But honestly, like he's just fully shirtless, and then for the rest of the performance, only puts on a jacket. Which I'm glad that
he does at least put on a jacket.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they had made him still perform without a shirt.
Well, maybe they can't because maybe their choreo is considered too inappropriate for him to be dancing without a shirt.
Maybe the choreo is too inappropriate. Maybe that is why they made him put on. Maybe the original plan was leave him without a shirt for the whole performance, and then they're like, no, we looked at the performance. That is the definition of dancing inappropriately. That's why not. But, like, no, I think that there were just bizarre moments in this performance.
Yeah, like, Wooseok just gets on a fence for, like, 5 seconds and then gets off the fence.
And then climbs off the fence.
Immediately.
Also, Emmett's terrible camera angles that we literally see. Like, you can't zoom in.
It's like you see him climb up on the fence and then also jump off the fence.
In the back. Yeah, in the background, you still see him jump off the fence because they can't angle the camera differently. And then Hui is, for some reason, on a fence with a guitar that he's not at all playing. He's just holding the guitar in one hand and the car has chains around it. I'm like, what's happening?
I just like, why did we have to bring out this guitar for literally this like 5 seconds of the performance?
Also, for you not to pretend to play it at all.
Yeah, so you can get on a fence and hold this guitar for 5 seconds.
Oh, God. I also love that everyone, like, the choreo is fine. I think Block B is never known for their choreo. They never really had, like, super intense choreo anyway. But, like, just in general, I feel like this performance was, they changed the choreo a little bit, which is odd.
I feel like the choreo is almost, it's almost more boring than the original choreo.
It's slightly more, I think they tried to make it quote-unquote harder to do. But I think at that point you just, the thing with Block B is that they don't have super difficult dances, but they have a lot of energy. They're constantly, like, going around. There's constant movement. The thing is, I think they tried to do harder steps, but they all kind of stayed in place. Which I think loses a lot in that performance.
Yeah.
Also, I feel that Wyatt is intimidated by Hansuk's body. Not to just bring it again back to Hansuk's body, but that is what stood out about that
because he went partially shirtless, and then he was like, yeah, this is a big moment, and then immediately gets shown up by the performance right after them by full shirtless.
And also, like, no, not to compare them, but to compare them. Y'all have eyes. You can look up these performances. Compare Wyatt and Hansuk's bodies. Come on.
Yep. I mean, Wyatt's fine, but Hansuk is got the,
Wyatt's not bad, for sure. But Hansuk
like,
is
advantage there.
Like, literally, when your group is telling you we need you for your body.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not. It's. I'm not a big fan of that with them.
I am not
using
either.
Him for
I
his
feel
body.
like it makes also telling it to his face that they're using him for his body. That makes me very uncomfortable. Just sort of the way they. Because Cube also has this one video of Hansuk where they literally just follow him to the gym, and he says nothing.
He's full on shirtless half of the video working out. And
for half the video, he's completely shirtless. He says nothing, and you're just watching him work out, and I'm like, something about this makes me feel weird.
And it's like, I know that he's like really proud of it, and he's worked hard for himself, and he likes
works very hard
like
for
showing his workout stuff, but he knows he's in a K-pop group and that most of his fans are probably like girls and women. And so it's like, I would get it if you were like doing that, like he probably is doing it because he enjoys working out and whatnot, but when you're showing that, it's obviously just like gross amounts of fan service. It's like, it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just a lot, and just sort of the way it's presented, it's only the body. I feel like they've talked about Hansuk's body more than Hansuk has actually had words in this show.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the part that sort of makes me a little uncomfortable. Where it's like, I don't want talk about his body. I kind of want to, like, let's equally have talk where he is talking.
About, like, him as, like, a person, or just, like, his vocals, maybe, or literally anything else.
Yeah,
anything else.
Yeah. His dancing, anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's our little moment
our
to defend
our little
Hansuk.
side tangent on that.
Yeah. So, then the last performance was the boys. And they do Taemin's Danger, which again, we already had a Shiny song, but now we have a Taemin song.
Yep.
A lot of choices.
I like it. It's a good song. It's an amazing performance.
It's a very good song. I love that song. This performance was one of the best.
It's so good. It is amazing.
Yeah.
They start
It's
off
so-
with that intro part where they're just like standing
Oh
there,
my
and
God.
there's like the I don't know, even the weird like making a beat out of just sounds, and the way that they're synced
Yep.
up to the background is just so good.
So good. Yeah.
And then they do.
Oh, and then we do the little like curtain trick.
Oh yes, the so-called magic trick.
The magic curtain, which is this is nitpicking, because to find faults in this performances is to nitpick it. It is like 2 frames off.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell that he just walked up. It is like 2 frames off. It's kind of
it's not
adorable.
a perfectly executed magic trick.
No, but it's as good as I think we were gonna get, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. And they pull out some fantastic stunts, like the freaking like stepping on the members like midair, like a
Stepping on the member
staircase.
jump. That is someone who trusts their members with their life.
It's so good.
1, to get stepped on, and 2, to step on people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be that high in the air, and also to trust someone to, like, use your back as a springboard.
Yeah, I don't
Like, that's a...
I don't know the members who are the ones who get stepped on in this stunt, but the one who is like the initial like launching pad off the ground, I feel so bad for, because they practice that so many times where he just has to step on his back, and it's not like a light step. He has to take like a leap off of his back.
Essentially, yeah. Like, that is... Like, that's how you can hurt somebody, and that is just someone trusting their member with their life. Because a back injury is not a... That's
like really serious, for especially when you're in a K-pop group and half of what you do involves like dancing.
And also like just the chair spinning, amazing.
And then the table
move,
the table is
incredible. But also we have to another nitpick to bring up the more crown motifs.
Oh yes, they're gonna continue this storyline into their round 2 story.
Which I didn't think this was a storyline that needed to be continued.
No, but it's continuing.
I guess we don't have a choice in that.
Nope.
Also,
I need
incredible.
to now, because this is sort of relevant to this performance, about the editing of this show and also the weird timeline in which this show was filmed. Because it's definitely, I noticed it during this part. So in their pre-performance part, they show them actually rehearsing on the stage. And there are 2 parts that confused me greatly when I first saw this episode. There's a part where they're standing on the bleachers, and then they make a comment about how, we're moving back and forth between, like, the stage and, like, the sitting area several times. And then there's another part where they're jumping off of a trampoline. And neither of those things are in the Danger performance. And so I was really confused. I was like, oh, did they just have to, like, cut those last minute out of the performance? It didn't work. And then I realized... Round 2,
it turns out
both of those things are in their round 2 performance.
So really, they're just... I think... this is a weird theory I have, that I genuinely think that they were probably working on all 3 to 4 of their performances at once.
Oh, like, no, I think that's... Like, I don't think that's even a theory. I think that's, like, the truth.
What happened?
Because I
they
followed...
were just probably working...
I followed spoilers for the show, like, when they came out, like, after they recorded. I remember spoilers from the intro performance round to the second round of the show came out within, like, the span of a week.
Well, also, both teasers were the intro performance and this. We've had teasers for all of these and knew all of these songs.
And then the round
the
2 performance spoilers were out for a really long time before this aired, too.
Yeah, what I can imagine is that all, like, the intro, this performance, and the round 2 performance... They just probably gave them the themes in advance, work on all 3 of these dances. We'll have, like, behind the scenes for your crew, and then Mnet is just sort of trying to edit together clips.
Yeah.
Enough content.
Because the confusing part of that thing with the boys is that they're in their stage outfits for the Danger performance, but I'm like, neither of the things that they're doing right now are in this performance.
The Danger.
So I think they were doing confusing stuff, so they were practicing it for, like, the next one.
They were probably like doing like maybe a final a final test within costume for Danger, while also trying to like figure out the same day, trying to figure out something for their next performance. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Yeah,
but their performance was so
incredible.
Good. They
incredible
keep getting better somehow, and like
they're killing
every time I see
this
their performance,
show.
I feel like we're at a point where it's like, oh, they like this has to be the best performance of the show. Like they can't keep
They've
getting
reached
better.
their peak,
and then they do,
and then they
it's just
keep
like
excelling.
mind blowing.
The other thing is I've watched the boys in their own songs and like their own stuff, but I've never noticed just how like certain things that they're doing here they just aren't doing in their actual performances. I've never seen them pull out half of these stunts in their actual performances.
No, like they're apparently
like,
big into
what's
stunts
happening?
and can just do all these crazy stunts all the time.
Crazy things. And I've never seen it before, and I'm like,
No.
you waited till now. Show me more.
Right? It's just
I want more.
everything about what they're doing is fantastic here. I love it.
They need to transition more of this into like their actual like, because the boys are good. I feel like this could take them into like the stratosphere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So after that, the groups
Going into the ranking
you go to
reveals.
the boys. Yeah. Oh, this is fun.
Oh boy, okay.
So we start off with
4th place.
4th place, which is 2, and they cry of
They're
happiness.
so excited.
I'm so
it's
proud
so
of them.
cute.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then ONF is 3rd, which again,
That's a choice.
we have differing opinions, but you know, sure.
Wyatt's having the time of his life in 3rd place.
Wyatt's loving it.
Yeah.
Yep. And at that point, I think Goldcha, Very Very, and One Us all realize that they're fucked.
Yeah, they're
like, oh
concerned
shit,
now.
we're not. They're like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. And then Pentagon comes in 2nd.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. So there's this continuing storyline this episode where Pentagon is going to complain that they got 2nd place and because they want 1st. And this is just not a compelling storyline to me in the slightest.
Also, that's not cute.
It's
that's
not
also
cute.
not a cute look.
Like
That's not a
there
cute
are
look.
3 groups here and there's like an elimination on the line who would be loving like 4th place. I don't
would love
care that you're
2nd place.
upset you don't
Oh,
you
I'm
didn't
sorry.
get 1st.
I think if you offered One Us 2nd place, they're like, oh, we could got 2nd place? Hell.
I'm sorry
me
you're
that.
upset. You're safe from elimination. Like, that's
And
just
also,
not compelling.
I'm sorry that you looked, like, no offense, but I'm sorry that you looked at the boys and Golden Child's performance and were like, we did better. I'm like,
We did
what?
better. Yeah, it's just
You
okay.
were on a fence.
Sure.
Also, I love in your notes you wrote, I contribute half their win to Hansa being shirtless.
That's the selling point.
I think that, I feel like that was the most memorable moment of that performance.
It was, to be honest, unless you're counting the Hui on the fence with the guitar as the selling moment of the
That was
performance.
a confusing moment. I still am confused as to why. I feel like Pentagon, and this is very suppressing to say, Pentagon is almost the, I know they can do better.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like
and I want them to do
they're
better.
almost like self-sabotaging them like this entire time.
They are.
And it's like, I can't blame anyone else because I know Pentagon is the one group here who is probably making all their performances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing a lot, and I think they're just trying to do too much, and they're going in these weird directions. Because I think they want to try something they have never tried before.
Right.
The problem with that is that I don't think they have as much time to refine it.
Yeah.
They don't have as much time to edit, because it's like you're not preparing for a comeback. No, you're preparing for this television show that you don't have as much time. Yes, singular performance. And I think if they were to try like this style in a comeback, it would be great. Because you have more time, more people, more resources, everything. And I don't know, I just feel like this is a first draft of everything. Pentagon is working with their first drafts, and no first draft is ever good.
Right.
So, and then the boys get 1st place again. Well deserved.
Makes sense.
Honestly.
Great performance.
I can't fault anybody for that. It's a great performance. And then we have the bottom 3.
Yeah, so Golden Child gets 5th place, which
They
is
were
a crime.
robbed.
Absolutely robbed. They were. I personally, I would put them in top 3 for sure.
I would honestly put them 2nd.
I would put them
genuinely
2nd,
put them
probably.
2nd. Or 1st.
I
go back and forth on
still
which
think
one
I like the
more.
boys more, but I would put them probably second.
They're so different. They're going for different vibes that, like, in a way, they're like equal. Because I don't think if you try to do stunts like what the boys did in the type of song that Golden Child did, that'd be a disaster.
No, you can't.
It doesn't fit there.
Yeah.
But I think for what they were trying to do, they did it perfectly. So it's like, it's a toss up. You can argue either way, but I think maybe the boys edges it out for me too. Right. I don't know.
We got a great quote by Jang Joon.
Jang Joon has the best quotes in this show.
Happiness isn't decided by grades, but we're not exactly happy to get a low grade. To find happiness, we will work even harder.
That's a quote.
Fun quotes by Jang Joon.
And now we try to figure out who's in 7th. Mm-hmm. And ONEUS is in 7th, and that is also a crime.
Also a crime. Very, very should honestly be in last place.
Very, very should be in last place. I think ONEF should be lower.
ONF, I think, is a solid, like, 5th place.
I would put him 6th.
I haven't figured.
I don't know.
What I had a personal ranking at some point.
I personally feel like ONEUS should be at least like 4th.
I'd probably put ONEUS in 4th, and I put ONF in 5th, Pentagon in 6th, and then Very Very in 7th.
See, I think my rating is probably the boys, Golden Child, 2, ONEUS, Pentagon, ONF, and then Very Very.
So it's like we're both similar, yeah.
It's very similar. A lot of that last half can be interchangeable.
Yeah.
Except for Very Very. Very Very should be on the bottom.
This was like not a really strong round of performances here.
I think we had some like super massive highlights, but everybody had like little thing. Except for, I don't think we had anything bad to say about Golden Child or the boys, but everyone else sort of had like little flaws that we point out.
Right.
That are room to improve.
Exactly.
They're not bad, they're just room for improvement.
Right.
Nothing was an absolute disaster. Mm-hmm. So like the next round is that they're doing their own song. They're performing their own song. And they're doing, I think, a remix? In the third round.
Second round. Technically.
Second round. I keep calling it the third round because I think that intro.
That first one is like round 0 or something stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, so round 2 they do a remix of their own song.
2 says they don't know what to do because they don't have a song yet.
They just have to do Magnolia for the 3rd time.
Yep.
Second time? There's a lot of Magnolia.
There's a lot of Magnolia because that is their song. One song.
Anytime they need to talk about 2, it's like the little background that they use for 2 still has to be Magnolia.
Oh yes.
All right, so we'll be back very soon because we're about to record it right after we do this one for round 2 of Road to Kingdom.
Yes. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.